so that's just for me. And my plan is, I'm big on meal prep when I go back to work. I like to have all my meals for the week ready. So this is going to come in really handy. This is the little Febo info card, and I will link everything down below, including the code and the links. You just put the stuff into these bags. You don't overfill it. And there's a little plug right here that you attach your sealer to, and it just sucks all the air out, and then you can put it in the fridge or the freezer. It also comes with, I have not used these yet, but I'm sure that I will. It comes with these containers, and you can suck the air out of the containers too. So there's different sizes. This is the smallest size. You put the lid on, you suck the air out, and then you can use this to put the date that you cooked it on and first made it, so that you can keep track of how old the food is. Again, I will link everything for this down below, and hopefully I attached pictures of what the finished product looks like. Let's get into what I have been reading. And one book took me by surprise. I did not think I was going to enjoy this one as much as I did. In fact, I hesitated on picking it up for quite some time. And that is The Dance Tree. The Dance Tree is a historical fiction. The Dance Tree by Kieran Millwood Hargrave. And this takes place in 1518 Strasbourg. Sorry guys. And it centers around the events, these very real events where people would dance until they dropped by the hundreds. They would go into a group mania, a group psychosis, and dance until they dropped dead. There are some working theories around what this was, whether it was mold induced or it was actual spiritual psychosis. So that's haunting. Anyways, this was excellent. It's about the main character. Trigger warnings, she struggles with infertility. She's been, having all these tragic things happen, and she has no living children. So her husband is starting to pull away from her. Meanwhile, her sister-in-law, who she's never met, who has been doing a stint up in the Tinker. Now, back then, if you were a woman that messed up, which really just meant sinned sometimes, they would send you out into the mountains, and that was your prison stay, kind of. And they would shave your head and whip you and make you do chores all day and stuff like that. So the sister-in-law is coming back into this family home where the main character lives with her husband and mother-in-law. They also tend to bees, and that is their bread and butter. They tend to these bees. They get honey, they sell the honey, etc. But there's some pressures from the law about where these bees have been feeding. So they're saying the bees are stealing because the bees are going to other parts to get their to feed off the flowers. Anyway, I'm not really doing it justice by describing it. At the city's boundary, pregnant Lisbeth lives with her husband and mother-in-law, tending to the bees that are the family's livelihood. Her quiet life is upended with the return of her sister-in-law, Neith, from 7 years in the mountains where she was paying pen powers and some insight and some special talents that help them to hunt these monsters down. There are things that are going on with these monsters, the big ones, that I have the phobia around. So check it, but I really think, aside from that, this is excellent, and it kind of watches almost like a movie, mainly if you liked Sinners. If you liked that movie, I think you would really like Ring Shout. And then this is good. This is so good. Love me some Octavia E. Butler. And this is Parable of the Sower. It was written in the 70s, but it takes place in the 2020s. And our main character, Lauren, lives in a gated, kind of walled off community in a crumbling and dilapidated and dangerous America. So these communities, they just wall themselves off, and they have their own, they get their own supplies, they have their own weapons of protection, and they kind of just stick together in their own little neighborhoods and help each other out. They school each other, they doctor each other, everything. Outside of those walls, if you're not in a community, it's straight danger and chaos, and people are getting just slaughtered and robbed, and it trigger warnings on this too. I mean, there are women running around naked trying to hide from, men chasing. Anyway, when you live inside one of these communities, you're still in danger because there's gangs and stuff forming outside that want to take what these communities have. So depending on what your guards have, they might not be any match for what's coming in, and so sometimes there's breaking and entering. Also, she's suffering from having empathy, hyper empathy, which is kind of really looked down upon now just for survival. You wouldn't want to have hyper empathy in a situation like this where your survival is at stake. I get it. So she's starting to pull away from her father as a preacher. She's starting to pull away from his teachings because she doesn't feel like they resonate with her, and she's making her own sort of religion, thought process, or spiritual thought processes. I'm about halfway into this, maybe a little more. Also, set in a hot climate, so perfect summer reading. I had a grilled cheese one night. I actually had some decent chicken breast. Have you guys been struggling with getting decent chicken over the past couple of years? It's just been so ick and tough. And anyway, just so happens that last week we got a good batch of chicken breasts. So we had chicken breasts with a garlic seasoning on them. I made a tomato sandwich. Is it summer yet? It's not summer yet until you've had your tomato sandwich. If you like tomatoes, you just toast the bread like a grilled cheese, kind of. You layer some tomatoes on there, thin sliced tomato slices, and then a little bit of mayo and salt and pepper. That's it. That's a tomato sandwich. It would have been better if my tomato was from the farmer's market, but it was from the grocery store. Still good. My husband made tostadas the other day, and then we had some ceviche that we purchased. Also, I sliced up a cantaloupe, and that was very good. Cantaloupe, I prefer cantaloupe and honeydew over watermelon. What is your favorite melon? What have I been obsessing about, you guys? This is scary. Have you seen the Vinted drama? Remember years back when they were saying Wayfair was selling kits? Now, maybe I owe whoever I said yeah right to an apology, because maybe they were selling kits on Wayfair. I just didn't understand how that could be possible. Why they would do that in that fashion. But now Vinted has all these ads up, and it will be a children's toy, a little plushie or something. But it'll say, like, this is the caterpillar my son named me. And then it'll say in the description, 12 years old, pink. It'll always say either pink or brown. It'll say things like slightly anxious or well-behaved, things like that, like things that don't make sense. And then it'll have centimeters on there for height, but it wouldn't be the same height as this. It would say 165 centimeters or something. 125 centimeters. This is not, And so it's very strange. says 12 years old, that they're just saying it's for a 12-year-old. Well, something like that isn't for a 12. None of it matched up, and a toy can't be anxious. And it would say pink or brown even when the toy was not pink or brown. It would say male or female when it would be that. What is going on? And even if it was trolls, then okay, take the ads down then. If it's just trolls, take the ads down. Anything suspicious, take it down. I think their government is taking this more seriously and they're looking into it. And maybe a couple other European countries are looking into it. But Vinted itself said we checked. It's nothing like that. I don't trust it. I don't like it. I don't trust it. I've got some gifts to show you guys. This is the Soku patent pending. And Ida sent this for Cruzy. We actually did a sports drink in here. It's so weird. I don't understand how the science of it works. The inner core stores in the freezer. Make slushies or milkshakes on your countertop in minutes. So you put the inner core in the freezer. You pull it out. We did a sports drink because he needs his electrolytes. This kid is so nonstop and it's hot outside. And it just turns it into a slushie. And it comes with its own spoon. So, Ida, Cruz says thank you. I say thank you because one day he's gonna let me use it instead of himself. But yeah, we did a sport like a Gatorade in there to get his electrolytes in. It's a healthier option. He's only allowed to have ice cream on Sundays. You get a Sunday on Sundays. So if we buy ice cream, he can have it on Sundays. But the other days, he can have a little summer treat that's not just full of sugar, you know? So that, and then I got the Miffy lunchbox. Now, I've been using pretty cheap lunchboxes the past couple of years. This is high quality, and it's got Miffy. It's kind of I wouldn't call it navy. It's a darker blue, insulated lunchbox. It almost makes me want to go back to work right now. Not quite. Anyways, this is going to be great to take my lunch in, and it's nice and roomy. It's bigger than the one that I was using. That one, there's strings coming off of it. I only paid $8 for it, so it's to be expected. Look at all that room for snacks. I'm telling you, I munch all day at work. Just healthy snacks. They just help me reset. Just a little reset treat, and it keeps my anxiety down to, when you're eating, your brain doesn't have time to be. There's some science behind it, but just little snacks every once in a while, little salty snacks, little seaweed or something. So that did not come with a receipt. I think I know who sent it, and you don't have to tell me if you don't want to. If you don't, I already know who you are. But if it was you, go ahead and let me know. Same thing with the next one. You guys, do you know that I made an audible gasp when I saw this outside? It was not it was kind of strange. It was packaged just in clear cellophane. And this was on my video as well of things I would love to have eventually. I will try to do a what's in my bag midsummer because I immediately switched into this. And I'm hitting myself with it. It is the purple regular sized Bagoo. Funny story about this charm is that when me and Cruz got our charms at Universal Studios, this was his charm, right? And I got a Cinnamoroll because we got different charm boxes. I picked that section and he picked from the SpongeBob section. And as soon as I opened Cinnamoroll, he wanted to trade me. And I said, well, I don't know. I want to keep my Cinnamoroll. Now, when this bag came in, I said, hey, if you want to trade now, I will trade you, but it's totally up to you. And he wanted to trade. So I've got my SpongeBob. I don't know what his name is. He's drinking. It's not beer. It's SpongeBob. He's drinking his pop or something. He's got a purple shirt and blue shorts, and I just thought that would look so those two things are from the same person. But if not, if it was you, let me know. And if there's nobody that lets me know, then I know it was my guardian angel. And thank you so much. I audibly gasped. I was kind of skipping through the house to go get this. And I switched bags. Within 10 minutes, I was switched into that bag with all my charms on it. My day was made. Okay. Thank you very much. I had to order the second book in this trilogy, this Farseer trilogy. This book is sitting at 650 pages-ish. The first one is Assassin's Apprentice, and this one is Royal Assassin. Who would have thunk that I would be into medieval fantasy? It's so good. I just fell in love with Fitz and living in that world for, 45 minutes at a time. Glad I get to come back, because I would not want to live in medieval times. Honesty is the bedrock for any relationship, but how can Fitz, a royal bastard, trainee assassin, holder of secrets crucial to the security of the kingdom, bare his soul to his beloved Molly? He's got a little crush, guys. Danger lies all around him. From the raiders savaging the coastal towns, and from within the court, the king has been struck down by a mystery illness, and his eldest son, Verity, is bound up in defense of the realm. When Verity leaves the court in search of the mythical elderlings, Fitz finds himself friendless apart from his wolf, Night Eyes, and the king's strange, motley clad fool exposed to Prince Regal's malign ambitions. He will be asked to sacrifice everything, his heart, his hope, even his life, for the sake of the realm. This is getting into deep medieval nerd territory. What's next for me? What is next for me? I finished the first one, and usually, a lot of times with series, I read the first one and I just say, that was nice. Oh, I'm going to continue with this. They're by Robin Hobb, and she's got a couple other series out there that I will probably move on to when I'm done with this series. And succeeding, I am halfway through with my 75 soft, medium, whatever you want to call it, where I do a workout every single day for 75 days, including some other things. So I have not missed a day yet. Well, I kind of did. I missed the day before Universal Studios, but Universal Studios, I walked miles and miles and miles. So I did several walks in one day at Universal Studios. Other than that, I've only had to do 3 workouts indoors. Last summer, I didn't have to do a single workout indoors. Every single workout I could do outdoors. We're having more rain this summer, or more rain at the times that I'm up and ready to walk, I guess. So I have had to do 3 indoor workouts, but that's not bad out of 30 something, And then what have I been watching? I watched Smile 2, which is about Sky Riley, I think her name is. She is a pop star that is the next victim to the Smiley monster. And I really enjoyed it. There's a lot wrong with it, okay? So I have to tamp that down. Other than that, I really did enjoy it more than the first one. So she's a pop star. She looks is eerily similar to a girl that I used to know in her younger days. So that was kind of weirding me out. She has witnessed the contagion, which means it jumps onto you, and then you have about a week to sort as this thing settles into your body and overtakes you. So it's her going through all of her choreography and her appearances as this thing is attacking her and making her more and more delusional and paranoid and making her do crazy things. But it's also one of those where you don't know what's real all the time and you don't know what's not. And there was a little bit too much of I think I saw something, but there was nothing there. That gets a little old. However, I did really enjoy it. I think I gave it 3.75 stars. We watched another episode of Cape Fear. Good Lord, please watch Cape Fear. It is so freaking good. And it's summery. It's hot. It's stifling. Cape Fear is it's actually based on a book. I did not know there was a book. The book is called The Executioners. The old movie is also called Cape Fear. And now this is a series in which a man is getting out of prison for something he didn't do, or allegedly now they found out he didn't do it. I'm not so sure about that though. And so he's released. But when he's released, his prosecutor and his own lawyer are married with kids, which is not a good look because they got together right after that trial. So it kind of looks like maybe she wanted her new boyfriend to win that case, and so she didn't give this convict, this alleged convict, the service he was due, you know? So he re-enters their life, and they're obviously scared shitless because they think, oh, he's really gonna have it out for us. Which, you go back and forth, is this him doing these weird things to this family? Is it not him? We're getting towards the end. Please watch it. It's on Apple TV, so if you have a 30-day trial you can use, wait till the last episode comes out, and then get your 30-day trial and watch it all. And all their other Apple has good stuff. It really does. I watched some soccer and some boxing. I watched soccer for about 30 minutes. That was enough for me. It was fun to watch for 30 minutes. I can't watch it all day. My husband can. I think soccer is a pretty easy game to follow what's going on without even knowing the technical rules. You can kind of just see what's going on. Where football, there's a lot more that I have to ask questions about, you know. And then we watched boxing. I only watched one of the lightweight fights. It was Ramos versus Davis, and I remembered why I don't watch boxing. I love boxing, I do. However, I don't trust the scoring at all. I mean, we saw it. We all saw the same shit. And the judges will give the supposed to be winner when even when they don't win, because Ramos won that fight. Fair and square, right? But he didn't win it according to the judges. We all saw the same shit the judges saw, for the most part. The crowd booed because they saw the same stuff too. I said, you know what? I can't give a half hour of my time to watch the judges just do what they want to do. Just go willy-nilly with it. So, when I do watch boxing, I like watching those lightweight fights. I think there's a lot more. The announcer said, oh, this isn't really that interesting of a fight to watch. I like that kind of a fight. I don't need to see somebody knocked out on the ground. I like to see the action. And the lightweights, they usually have a lot more action and a lot more movement going on. I'm not doing it because of what I see happening when it's time to score. I watched Ready or Not 2. Finally, it is out on Hulu. And so we watched Ready or Not 2, which is not quite as good as the first one. It was still entertaining. It's Ready or Not 1 is where she marries Samara Weaving, who I love. Total girl crush. Samara Weaving marries into this family where on the night of your wedding, you have to draw a card, and then whatever card you get, you have to play into their little weird satanic game where you might die. If you don't make it till dawn, if you make it till dawn, you can live, but if you don't, obviously you're dead because you didn't make it. Now this one, because she won the first one, that's not a spoiler, there's a second movie, so she stayed alive until dawn in the first one, is on a much bigger scale, so she thinks she's in the clear, she survived this family. Well, little does she know that there's more families involved in this game. So it's a bigger scale, it's a bigger setting. It's kind of out on somebody's land, so they're running outdoors, they're running into these buildings, and she's with her sister this time. Anyway, I liked it, but not quite as much as the first one. It got a little more out there, and it was cheesy, but the first one was a little cheesy too, so I expected that. And then I did watch Lee Cronin's The Mummy. Now, this one felt so much. It was good. It felt so much like Hereditary that I had to look up if Hereditary was a Lee Cronin. That is the kind of horror that it felt like. So if you liked Hereditary, I think you would really like The Mummy. A couple is living in, I can't remember what town they're living in. A desert town, right? And overseas, a desert town. Well, I'm in the US, so it'd be overseas for me. They're living in a desert doing headbutting and just things that are hurting the rest of the family or hurting herself. And it just goes on from there, getting more and more wild, more gory. There's a lot of disgusting elements. Meanwhile, they're trying to figure out where has she been, what happened. Well, it's called The Mummy, so you kind of know what happened to her. But it unfolds and how to protect her, or how to get this, possession to settle down, stuff like that. Anyways, I would say it's a 3.5 star in my opinion, but I think if you liked Hereditary, which I'm the odd one out, I would say Hereditary for me was a 3-star. If you liked Hereditary though, I think you would really enjoy that one. Okay, that is it. That's what I've been up to: reading, eating, playing. What did I do? Playing? I don't even think I did playing. Did I? Did I play anything? We did sparklers and smoke bombs. And I did go out on the kayaks with my son. We had a really good time. We do that. We try to do that at least once a summer with my son, and then at least a couple times a summer with my husband. We went out on the kayaks. It was the perfect day. It was, upper 70s. Finally, it wasn't a heat wave. It wasn't super windy, so it was pretty easy. We did 1 hour on the kayaks. I am a little sore because it was the first time I did it this summer. We talked, we chatted, we caught up, and yeah, that's what that was playing. Sorry, I skipped that one. Now, anyways, if you watched this all the way to the end, thank you very much. I hope you have a good rest of your day.